Literature gives us the opportunity to experience lives, perspectives, and worlds different from our own. Though remember, friend, a good story has many readings, and this is but one. Okay, think back to when you were around 9 years old. Hopefully back then, your biggest worry was if your chicken nuggets were going to be shaped like dinosaurs or something, right? So what would you have done if one night you and your besties saw a racist mob confronting your lawyer dad because they didn't like him representing an innocent black man? Well, let's see if we can scout out an answer to this quandary and a few others by talking about To Kill a Mockingbird and its place in history. Thanks so much to Ting Mobile for helping the story come in loud and clear. So you haven't read To Kill a Mockingbird? Or maybe just not since you were in middle school like a lot of us did. See, US school systems have been in a committed relationship with the novel for years now, due to its narrative that was viewed as progressive back when it was written in 1960. But now in 2021, with its problematic stereotypes, liberal use of racial slurs, and the whole middle-class white folks learning to be better people tropes, that relationship has definitely switched to more of a, it's complicated. But all of that doesn't mean that To Kill a Mockingbird isn't still a skillfully written blend of humor, serious social observation, action. No, Zoe, you're thinking of Mockingjay, I think. I don't remember that book, it's been a while. But you know what, I'm getting off track. Let's get you caught up on this classic. To Kill a Mockingbird is set in Macomb, Alabama during the Great Depression and narrated from the perspective of Jean Louise Finch, a young tomboy nicknamed Scout. In the first part of the book, Scout introduces us to the citizens of Macomb. She lives with her twin brother Jem, her lawyer father Atticus, and the family's housekeeper Calpurnia. We also get to meet characters from all different walks of life in Macomb, from the dirt poor white families like the Ewells and the Cunninghams, to the segregated black population of the town like Calpurnia and her son, to the well-to-do white characters like the Finches and their neighbor Miss Maudie. And from the youthful point of view of Scout and her friends, Macomb's residents seem like the best folks in the world. Scout and Jem also become BFFs with Dill Harris, a boy who visits Macomb every summer. And while palling around, the trio become obsessed with their scary reclusive neighbor, Boo Radley, and spend their time trying to get him to come out of his house. Now, Boo doesn't emerge, but he does start leaving little gifts for the kids in the knot of an old tree, which of course sounds kind of creepy these days, but back in the 1930s where this book takes place, it was actually still kind of creepy, but innocent creepy? I don't know. Then the kids witness their father Atticus facing off with a rabid dog on their deserted street. Atticus then regretfully shoots and kills the poor dog in one shot, saving the innocent people of Macomb from a potential rabies outbreak, and also delivering us our first heaping dose of metaphor. And it's definitely not the last. In fact, To Kill a Mockingbird's author Harper Lee baked some right into the title. It's a direct reference to something Atticus tells the children. It's a sin to kill a mockingbird. Miss Maudie explains that this is because mockingbirds don't harm other living creatures and bring joy to the world through their song. And since the book itself deals with both the death of an innocent man and with the loss of innocence experienced by the children, you can see where this is going. In our times, we can recognize that the novel's black characters and its one neurodivergent character generally lack agency and primarily exist to teach life lessons to Scout and her friends. And while our protagonists do come to recognize that one must fight for racial justice, the book also reinforces stereotypes. This is perhaps in part because Lee drew on her own life experiences in her writing. For example, the town of Macomb is modeled after Lee's hometown, Monroeville, Alabama. And Jem, Atticus, and Dill are fictionalized versions of her real-life brother, father, and lifelong friend, renowned author Truman Capote. And while the novel's not autobiographical, as Lee describes it, it is an example of an author writing about what they knew and writing truthfully, even if that truth is an ugly one about your hometown. Which leads us to the second half of the novel. Atticus is assigned to defend Tom Robinson, a black man who's been falsely accused of raping a white woman named Mayella Ewell. And when it becomes clear that Atticus intends to defend Tom to the best of his ability, the town starts to turn on him and the children, and Scout and Jem's classmates berate them with racial slurs. This is also when the angry mob comes in. A group of white Macomb citizens decide they're going to try and lynch Tom before the trial. And all that stands between the angry mob and Tom is Atticus, much like he stood down the rabid dog earlier. And everything's looking pretty grim until Scout, Jem, and Dill show up. No, again, crossing books here, nothing that extreme, rather something more profound and kind of beautiful. Scout recognizes one of the men in the mob, Mr. Cunningham, as the father of one of her classmates. So she starts talking to him about his son, and how Atticus has helped Mr. Cunningham a number of times in the past. And this simple, innocent act manages to de-escalate the mob mentality, and they disperse, leaving Atticus to defend Tom in a packed courtroom trial. There, the three friends witness Atticus prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Mayella and her father Bob Ewell are lying. Turns out, Bob Ewell learned that Mayella was hitting on Tom Robinson, beat her up himself, and then accused Tom to cover up his own crimes. But despite this, the all-white, all-racist jury still convicts Tom. Then, before Atticus can appeal the verdict, Tom tries to escape prison and is shot dead. The best folks in the world both unjustly convicted an innocent man and murdered him because of the color of his skin. To employ Harper Lee's central and questionable metaphor, Macomb, Alabama has sinned by killing a mockingbird. But Bob Ewell's bad reputation is further destroyed, and he wants revenge. So on Halloween, he attempts to murder Scout and Jem. He manages to break Jem's arm, but before he's able to finish the job, the kids are rescued by the mysterious Boo Radley. Ewell is left dead, stabbed by Boo to protect the children. But then the town sheriff decides to report that Ewell fell on his own knife in order to protect the kindly recluse's privacy. Of course, it should be noted that selective justice is what got them into this situation in the first place, but Scout is saved and learned that mockingbird metaphor earlier, so yeah, it's complicated. To Kill a Mockingbird was one of the most popular books of the 20th century, and the character of Atticus Finch, an unflinching moral lawyer, became a hero in the legal profession. It's a reminder of both the progress we've made towards greater racial justice in the United States, but also an indicator of how much farther we need to go. And while its once praised progressiveness doesn't square with our modern society, Harper Lee's humor and affection for her characters still makes reading it a moving, worthwhile experience to this day. And while that contradiction might have been a little hard to parse back when you were enjoying your dino nuggets, it's definitely worth the time pondering today, now that you're a mature adult. Well, mostly mature. Of course, we all know that maturity is overrated, what with less dino-shaped foods and more responsibilities. Ooh, like paying your phone bill. Luckily, we can help you take a bite out of one of those problems thanks to our friends at the new and improved Ting Mobile. The lowering your phone bill part, just to be clear, not the Dino Nuggets part. What we love about Ting is it's got a plan that can work for anybody on any budget. For instance, if you just need unlimited talk and text, then they've got you covered for only $10 a month. Or depending on your data needs, Ting has plans starting at $25 all the way to the mighty unlimited talk, text, and data for just $45, meaning there's a perfect plan for you and your family. And speaking of families, it's that time again, Jeff. Since you switched to Ting 8 months ago, how much have you saved on your fam's 2 phones and an iPad? Over $620? Dang, that's really gonna help out with your holiday shopping this year. P.S. I think you already know what I want. What's really neat, though, is that the only thing that actually changes is you getting a lower monthly phone bill. You still get robust nationwide LTE and 5G coverage, not to mention access to Ting's award-winning customer service, plus no contracts ever. And switching has never been simpler. Just head to extracredits.ting.com to check your phone's compatibility, create an account, and pick the plan that's right for you. Not to mention, if you bring your phone, you'll get a $25 service credit to try Ting with no strings attached. And because using our link, again that's extracredits.ting.com, helps support the shows you love while biting off a big chunk of your phone bill, there really has never been a better time to try Ting for yourself. Thanks so much. A huge thanks to our legendary patrons, O'Reels1, Kyle Murgatroyd, Joseph Blame, Dominic Valenciana, Casey Musja, Alicia Bramble, and Ahmed Ziad Turk.